If you want to create a successful entertainment franchise, there are 4 main pillars that you need to build towards. My name is Maxwell Allen Duncan, and I'm a transmedia producer, and these 4 pillars are essential if you want to build a franchise that lasts a long time and gets a wide audience. The first one I want to talk about today is you need a cause. What is the message of your story, and how many different ways can you deliver that message? For example, in Star Wars, the main message that is repeated throughout every single iteration of the franchise is that big government is bad. It leads to corruption. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Spider-Man has one of the greatest taglines ever: with great power comes great responsibility. And in every single story, in every iteration, Peter Parker struggles to maintain his personal life because he has a responsibility to prevent crime and catastrophe. And that is the main struggle that is present in every single issue. And every time he chooses his personal life first, there are major consequences. And there are a ton of those stories within that same franchise using the same message. These are recurring themes that we like to see. So what are you passionate about? What are you so passionate about that you could write 100 stories about that topic? Tell me in the comments. The second pillar is story. So yeah, of course I have a story. Okay, but what is the big story? A lot of film franchises start out as one really good singular story, and when they do really well, production companies want to repeat that success by releasing a sequel. By the time they get around to the third movie, they're trying to wrap up an arc, and it feels disjointed. TV Tropes calls this a 2-part trilogy. Notable examples are like The Matrix, Back to the Future, Pirates of the Caribbean, and The Dark Knight trilogy. That's not to say that these trilogies are bad or not massively successful. They are. They just don't feel like one cohesive journey. If you want to tell multiple stories, you've got to know where you're headed. And it only makes sense to plot out the major arc of your story so that it does feel connected when you go there. Just like if you're planning out the first season of a television show, each episode you want to have its own arc, but you also want that overarching narrative to be earned by the end of the season. Tony Stark goes through multiple arcs throughout the MCU. Each solo film, as well as the team-up films, he's going through something different. And at the end of each movie, he figures it out and changes as a person. Now, if you take all of those films and you put them in chronological order, you can see his overarching narrative, his bigger story. And while each of his solo journeys are great and the lessons are compelling, his whole story is something that's remarkable and one of the best in modern cinema. The third pillar is strategy. Okay, so now you have a slew of stories to tell, but now you've got to figure out how best your audience can experience the story. Well, if you're an independent creator, you've got to start small. I was talking to my producer friend Adam about an idea that I had for a noir limited series set in 1940s alternate universe Hollywood. And he told me, unless you have $1 million or a rich uncle that I don't know about, make it modern day. That way you can shoot it yourself. While it broke my heart to think of my story in any other way, he was right. I don't have the means to make it the way I want to yet. So either I have to put it aside for now or I have to adapt. So I've decided to table it for now, but it has been rewritten as a podcast, which is much simpler and easier to produce. And in the meantime, I am in the process of creating other free-to-publish content that is story connected, and in doing so, I can build up to the release of that podcast. So start small with low to no cost platforms. If your story can be repurposed, do that. But if not, build up to it. And if you're not sure where to begin with that, I'm your guy. Come talk to me. The fourth and last thing that every major successful franchise has is a fandom. Have you ever been to a convention or seen footage of one? While regretfully I have yet to go to Comic-Con, I did manage to go to D23 this year, and holy crap. I plan on talking more about this in a later video, but if you are not building your franchise with the intent of creating a fandom, you're going to build it very slowly, if at all. What is a fan and what are they looking for? In my experience, fans are just people looking for a connection. Fans want to feel like they're a part of something big, a community. Why do you think every single millennial knows what Hogwarts house they fall into, whether or not they've seen or read Harry Potter? Also, side note, let me know if you think you can guess what Hogwarts house I am in the comments. It's important. It matters to us as fans because we get to decide who we are and how we present ourselves to the world. And when we are all dressed up and out in the wild, we get to connect with strangers, total strangers, about our commonalities. This creates what Houston Howard calls brand equity, which is basically a measurement of how invested a person is in a franchise. I am a Disney apologist. It's not that I don't think that Disney can do any wrong, but that I trust them to deliver on things. When I was a little kid, my great aunt took me to Disneyland all the time. Like it was all the time. Like I was 4 years old and I was an annual pass holder. And because of that, I developed a massive brand equity with Disney. So when you're planning your story, you're planning your franchise, plan to have things that generate a fandom. When you have created space for people to feel connected, you have created a fandom. And that is actually the most powerful thing you can do with your franchise. They're like driving around our block just to piss us off. Can you believe we have haters? If you want to know more, ask me. You could write 100 stories about cheese.
Absolutely.
Do it.
Okay. Second one is story.
Second one is story.
Okay. Okay. I know. I can hear you.
You got a story. Okay. But what is it really?
So sorry.
That was almost like violent, like pointed.
I was trying to get it all out at once. A lot of fuck.
A lot of fella. They just don't feel like one cohesive whole.
I would say journey instead of whole.
Okay.
Much better than whole.
Much better than whole. Ooh, my butt. Sitting on the edge of this couch fucking sucks. I can't. That could be a whole separate video.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Make a note of that. Okay. She said this.
You speak as if he's dead.
He's dead.
What? No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't get that far. You're way behind.
Remember when we were like, oh no, can we sit through this 3.5-hour movie without having to pee?
And now we're like, all right, drop and go.
Yeah.
And then just
bear down.
Fucking grab the cushions tightly. Tell me what happened. Nothing happened. I knew it. Taxi drivers are fucking insane.
Hey, don't do that. It's like my honk is equivalent to like teacher. Okay, name drop.
I didn't do a full name drop.
I don't know.
My producer friend Adam. Now wait till they see this viral video and find out you're not actually working.
That's wrong. I already finished work.
I just love people and I want them to be successful and happy, okay?
If that's not a crush, I don't know what is.